So what's keeping you from becoming the player you want to become? What's the ceiling? What's holding you down? What is actually keeping you from just taking one step at a time and then going straight for the ultimate skill level that you can imagine that would be cool to have? So I could ask that question in another way: what skill level would you aim for if you knew that you could not fail? You could just get it. It was possible for you, right? And because that question, that reveals a truth about your main obstacle. And for most people, and I see so much discussion about this, for most people, it's the notion that there's a thing called talent, that they cannot reach that skill level. They can aspire to it, but never reach it. And then there are these other people who can, because they are in some way gifted, right? There's a lot of excuses we use for not going for it full tilt. One of them is I'm too old, I don't have enough time, I have other obligations. People who have the skill level that I want, they didn't have to work 9 to 5 every day. People who have the skill level I want, they have longer fingers, they have shorter fingers, they're younger, they're older, right? They're more wise, they're less wise, you name it. Yeah, every single excuse is in the book. And if we write them down, if we sit and write them down and say, why is it that I truly do not believe that I can reach the highest level that anybody else can, or that guy or this guy or that woman or whatever, right? Because I didn't think I could do it. I really didn't, because I hadn't seen myself do it. Of course not, because I hadn't the skills, right? So I had to see myself have the skills before I could actually believe that I could have the skills. And then I had the skills. So that didn't help me a lot. But it was crazy how, because I had very little reason to doubt myself, because I had this wonderful father who didn't believe in me. He just knew that the talent when it comes to, operating an instrument like this was a myth, because it's just mechanics. Whether you can be the new Johann Sebastian Bach or the new Sting writing songs like that, I don't know, right? It might take some, but when it comes to playing this instrument like a dream, like the highest level of technical proficiency and emotional quality, whatever you're aiming for or whatever you would like to have, that's just mechanics. It really is. How come everybody speaks? How come that's extremely complex, like over 2,000, 3,000 different little words that we know and can combine with lightning-like speed, and we doubt ourselves when it comes to this instrument? We naturally doubt ourselves, because not everybody walks around playing guitar like they speak, right? So if they did, we wouldn't doubt ourselves. We would just go, okay, everybody plays guitar like a god, so that's just normal, so let me get on with it, right? But everybody can, but nobody, not everybody wants to, so they don't. So it looks like magic because not everybody does it, right? But there have never been, more people than right now that play guitar in the most crazy way at a high level because of YouTube and because of the availability of information out there, right? So what you need to get rid of in order for you to really develop is that myth of talent, or that myth that you do not have time enough, or that myth that whatever, right? Because the reason why it's not important enough to us, the reason why we keep it at a hobby level, is simply because we do not believe in the first place that we can get to that high level. Because it's not the primary thing in our lives. It was never the primary thing in my life. I attended school. I was, starting and running new businesses, like an entrepreneur, right? I had a couple of jobs in my life, but most of it was starting businesses. And I was practicing, and I did all the other things as well. I have 4 kids, right? A ton of different things happened in my life, but I couldn't help myself when it came to practicing guitar. But I didn't play PlayStation very much. I didn't do many other things that most people would, I didn't, spend weekends playing golf, for instance. This was it, right? And if it's important enough, then we will make it happen. If it's not important enough, then it will happen when everything comes together. But the main point in our brain, the switch in our brain is, do we really believe that we can do it? If we believe that we could do it, that I can have those skills, then we would be insane with passion. It's like, say, imagine that, cars was the most magical thing in your life, and a red Ferrari was the ultimate in that area that is the most magical in your life. And somebody told you, if you do X, Y, Z, then you can get the Ferrari. And you can, let's say, it takes you 1 or 2 years, and then you can get it. You would be crazy with passion, right? You would do whatever it took. And the fact is, you would spend time doing that, and you would, stay up late and get up early. You'll have tons of energy for your kids and your wife and family or your work or whatever, because you would be so fired up by that, whatever it is that you have to do to get that car. But so what I'm telling you is that you can get the car and you can make it happen as you do all the other things in your life as well. And the same thing goes for this instrument. But I can tell you all day about magical practice methods and how we, through focus and application of intelligence, can get 10 times the results of anyone close to us who's doing the same thing or practicing the same instrument. I can tell you about that all day. But as long as that switch is annihilating every argument by simply putting that ceiling to your development and saying, yeah, that's fine, but not for me. Yeah, that's fine, Claus, but I can't do that. Because when I apply these strategies, it seems hard anyway, right? As it does for everyone. We take the hardships that we run into when we play guitar, and all the struggles we have, and the obstacles, that the plateaus that we run into, and the confusion about what to practice and how much to practice, and all of that. We take all that and we make it a personal problem. Like we were so special that we're the first ones in the universe to have those problems. And everybody else is just practicing and getting results. Everybody else is just picking up the guitar and they do the exercises, right? And then, weeks and months goes by and then just, so what's the problem, man? Why can't you play guitar? What's the complaining about? And we think that we're the only ones who struggle so crazily with, what should be the most simplest thing in the world, because everybody says it's the simplest thing in the world. Well, you do this and this and that, and then you do this, and then, gradually you practice over and over again. But everything is a problem, right? It's a problem where to put our fingers. Rhythm is a problem. How much, to do of each, what scales to learn, to put scale shapes together. Now I learned the scales, I can't play horizontal. Everything is a freaking problem, right? Even outside of the mechanics of playing, when to practice, how much to practice, just getting in enough practice time and keeping motivation running. And every freaking thing in this engine of guitar playing is a problem. You might have periods of time, like, a whole streak of weeks where nothing is a problem because you're just practicing. But I promise you, it's just a matter of time before everything is a problem again. I really should. I should have. I shouldn't have. I really can't. I wonder if. Confusion, everything. It was, at least for me, it was like that all the way, right? And I imagine that everybody else seems, way more skilled than I am with half the amount of energy put into it. But that's because people are hiding that stuff, right? We all go around hiding the reality of what really goes on in here. Because if people knew what was really going on in here, they would think, hey man, you're crazy, right? Just try speaking out every thought you have. Just instead of thinking in your head, just go around speaking everything you think, and then see how long before, the men with the white clothes, they come and take you away to that mental asylum, right? So we all try to seem adult with everything together, right? Serious adult. And then we struggle, and there must be something wrong with me since I don't already have the skills. But it's a struggle all the way. But if you're sufficiently passionate about the result, then it doesn't matter. It's just, right? But if you don't believe you can get the result, what do you do? If you don't really, sincerely, what do you do? What do you do about that? This is magical, but you can't get the result. What do? You start telling stories about how you can't get it. Too short fingers, too long fingers, not enough time, too old, right? You can see those kids, 6-year-old, they play violin like wizards, and I'm 65 or I'm 75 or I'm 82. I can't learn to do any of that, right? It's not possible for me. And yet there's a guy on the other side of the planet doing exactly that. There's always an exception. There's always the people who are not confined by their own beliefs. They're comfortable beliefs, because for every belief you have about how you can't do it, or how you have significant special obstacles in front of you, For every single reason you have of why you can't do it is a reason for staying comfortable. Because imagine if you could actually point to that skill level you wanted and then just go, okay, I want that. Then suddenly you expose yourself to people going, yeah, you think you can be, you want to play like him? Yeah, good luck with that, man. All right. So how did that go, man? You know, your last, you know, you're at your 60th birthday or your 50th birthday or 20th birthday, you told me that you wanted to be as good as him, right? How does that go, right? You expose yourself to being ridiculed. But the worst enemy is yourself, being ridiculed by yourself, right? You're supposed to do all kinds of things. Then you really have to put it on yourself. Then you can be frustrated. Now you have a goal to be frustrated about, right? Now you can be frustrated. You can be hopeless. You can be so confused. You can scramble and, you know, suddenly your life went from, you know, really loving music to suddenly it's one big conflict because you want to get there. That's how it is. If it doesn't hurt, if there's no resistance whatsoever and you just, you know, chilling out every day, you're not developing. When you're developing, you're moving. When you're moving, there's resistance. When you're moving through water, there's resistance. Try putting your hand out the window when you're, you know, driving down the freeway 100 miles per hour. It's like, it's, you know, it's crazy resistance that we're pushing through in order to get somewhere. If you want to get somewhere with this instrument here, there will be resistance. There will be confusion. There will be hopelessness. There will be all of these things. And it's just part of the game. If I could go back and talk to myself when I was developing the majority of my skills, all I would say was, it's relax, man. Just do what you do. Whatever you're confused, frustrated about, just keep pushing, keep finding another way. It's all going to be good. As long as you don't give up, right? And giving up is an illusion, right? Because, you know, we don't know if you're going to take it up the next day. So cut the crap, right? I'm giving up. How do you know you're giving up? Because, you know, I don't want to do it anymore. Well, you might feel differently tomorrow. So how serious do we take ourselves when we want to give up, right? Okay, I hope this was valuable to you, this rambling for, what is it, 10 minutes? I don't know how long we went, but remember that, right? It's a struggle. And the ceiling to whether or not you can actually get the skills is whether or not you allow yourself to at least be curious about, hey, maybe I can get those skills, right? Let me test it out. That would be amazing if I could do that. Let me take a little bit. Let me take one thing that guy does. Let's just a tiny little bit. And let me practice that 1,000,000 times, like over the next 2 months. Every time I come home from work, every time I wake up in the morning, just going to do the same blah, 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 over and over and over again. Let's test this, right? Instead of just practicing all kinds of stuff on this instrument, let's practice this, right? Like Joe Bonamassa, right? And just do that little thing 1,000,000 times. See where it brings me. Then let's do it 3,000,000 times over the next 6 months. If that gives me radical progress, then I can learn anything, and you really can. So that's the way forward. Hope to see you in another video. Go download the free course. Leave a comment if you have anything to say.